Hi, and welcome back. I'm still Fabian. I'm a former Deloitte automotive strategy consultant turned digital product manager. And in this video, I'm going to give you a little bit of an overview over what I plan to share over the coming weeks and months as part of a series on digital product management. There are 15 videos I have planned and will upload in the near future, and would just briefly provide an overview over them just so that you can see whether they resonate with you, and if there's anything you're missing, please let me know. So first of all, I would start this series by sharing an introduction to digital product management. There are loads of different roles that are referred to as being digital product management, but aren't really that, but are more a, for example, delivery type of role. So in this first role, I specifically highlight some of these distinct features, unique differences of digital product management, especially in tech or tech-heavy industries. Secondly, I'm going to delve deeper into key concepts and frameworks. I will, for example, cover some of the fundamentals in terms of Agile methodology, Scrum, Lean, startup principles, design thinking, etc. All of the buzzwords you might have heard of, and trying to bring them to life in a somewhat unique and very practical way, because theoretically they can be a little confusing. So I would share some of my real-world experiences of having worked with all of these concepts, and I'm also going to share some very tangible best practice guidance in terms of day-to-day Agile ceremonies, and then also specific methodologies, for example, in terms of design thinking and design sprints, etc. Thirdly, I will be delving into understanding user needs, so kind of building on the last point. It is, of course, fundamental to develop meaningful digital products that we know who our users are, who the kind of business owners for our product are. So I'm going to shed some light on how we could do that, including some of the concepts such as a user persona, and then all of the associated tools like user stories, user journey mapping, conducting qualitative and quantitative customer research, etc. Fourthly, we will be talking about product roadmaps. So lots of people have this misconception of Agile digital product management delivery conflict somewhat with having a roadmap, and our opinion is quite clear on that it does not. A roadmap is really critical to provide both to our teams, but then also wider stakeholders, some clarity on this is the vision, this is how it's going to be transacted in terms of main work streams, building blocks, work packages, etc. And while it's completely normal that a roadmap will change over time, and this is always worth highlighting, a roadmap is fundamental to digital product management. So in this deep dive, I will be talking about different ways to create and maintain product roadmaps, because there isn't a one-size-fits-all approach. It doesn't need to be kind of PowerPoint always. There are lots of different approaches, and I'm going to share some of our best practices, including prioritization techniques, how to align them also continuously with stakeholders, and then how to communicate the roadmap effectively across different internal and external stakeholders. Fifthly, there will be a session on product lifecycle management. First of all, I will be talking about the kind of stages of products, including discovery, development, business as usual, BAU, value realization, and also more traditional ones like introduction, growth, maturity, and decline. And I will be discussing some of the strategies and then tactics as well, including some very tangible examples of how to manage change across the different stages. In the session number 6, I'll be talking about metrics and KPIs. So KPIs is short for key performance indicators, for measuring the success of digital products, which can be quite different to, especially in automotive, which is an industry that's very close to my heart, where lots of the traditional success metrics have been focused on things like traditional quantitative metrics, financially in terms of profits, revenue, sales across the globe, but then also numbers that are close to kind of production, such as the job one and job one delays, FTEs, full-time equivalent savings, etc. But more often than not, the success of digital products should be measured quite differently, and this is arguably something lots of organizations are still struggling with, but I'm going to share some best practices in terms of how to do that. First of all, highlighting some of the distinct features, and then sharing best practices in terms of user engagement, retention, conversion rate, customer satisfaction, and bringing this to life beyond the theoretical level by sharing some very tangible best practices, and also some of my, in some cases, very painful experiences of negotiating in very traditional environments. Some of these, could call them more future-oriented metrics that are closer to kind of customer satisfaction and engagement, etc., with our traditional financial teams to agree very clear business cases and value for them, which is in a lot of organizations needed to progress digital products. Session number 7 will be all about feature prioritization. So as part of our sprint ceremonies, which are typically plannings, reviews, retros, daily stand-ups, and I tend to use some additional ones that I'm going to talk about in the session. We need to prioritize features both within our team and then also align this with external stakeholders, often business sponsors, business product owners. And in the feature prioritization session, I will be covering different methodologies like the Moscow method, the Kano model, RISE prioritization methodology, and some others. Also, again, sharing some very tangible best practices, because here we really see a quite considerable gap between what is taught in some of these Agile methodology approaches and frameworks compared to what is actually feasible and realistically useful in the real world. So I'm going to share some of my experiences there. The session number 8 will be focused on minimum viable products. So I will be, first of all, explaining what minimum viable products, or short MVPs, are, the relevance in the kind of wider product development process, and then specifically how to define and test minimum viable products effectively. I will also make some distinctions to things like proof of concepts and different stages of development. And also, again, we'll be sharing some very concrete examples of minimum viable products and the alignment that is really important on a certain scope of work and outcomes of minimum viable products with our stakeholders. Because what happens a lot here, without teasing too much, is that minimum viable products show a certain feasibility and often raise hopes that the kind of final product, with all of the expectations that are being created by MVPs, not always can live up to. So I'm going to share some ways how we as digital product managers can manage expectations effectively, etc., etc. The 9th session will be focused on product design and UX, user experience, and UI, user interfaces. So I'll be discussing some product design principles, UX and UI best practices, and then some methodologies and concrete examples for wireframing, so actually designing some layouts that we can align with our stakeholders, some prototyping, and usability testing. This is especially, of course, as the category suggests, important where we've got very tangible interfaces. For example, for analytics types products like BigQuery, building on GCP, where it is critical that we have get some of the fundamentals right, like a clear design language, clear verification and simplicity of our design with our users, where most often than not, especially if, and I'm generalizing here, if technical engineers design these types of analytics type of products, that they don't necessarily align with the real stakeholder needs. So there's this kind of ongoing tension between richness and functionality and simplicity in design. And I'm going to share some very concrete examples of how we have run workshops, etc., to land on clear product design and UX, UI outcomes for some of our products. Session number 10 will be focused on the product development process, so covering different stages in terms of life cycle, from ideation to launch, including requirements gathering, sprint planning, development, testing, and deployment. It will synthesize and bring to life some of the kind of building blocks I covered before, but this will be especially for product managers, of course, but then also for people running these sessions like Scrum Masters or Agile coaches, for whom the session will hopefully be useful. Session number 11 will be focused on cross-functional collaboration. So, of course, it's not a secret that product managers are very much at the core, potentially even stakeholder managers, where we have to engage with loads of different technical capabilities, like data engineers, data scientists, people from data analytics and others, intelligent automation, to develop some of these products. We have to make sure that what we're doing are the kind of most relevant problems we're solving. We have to engage with, in some cases, very senior business leaders to integrate our products into some of the wider organizational priorities, have to sell our products in some respects, and on an ongoing basis to make sure that what we're doing is well integrated with the wider business ecosystem. We have to effectively collaborate continuously. So I'm going to share some of the ways I've done it and some of my peers have done it in terms of effective and efficient cross-functional collaboration. Session number 12 will be focused on managing product backlogs. So I will be discussing some techniques for managing and prioritizing product backlogs, such as, backlog grooming, user story writing, sprint planning, so everything related to kind of continuous requirements gathering and refinement, kind of links very closely to the prioritization session. Session number 13 will be focused on product analytics and data-driven decision-making. So here I will be delving a little bit deeper into data analytics to inform product decisions, which again is quite different to kind of traditional analytics, for example, in supply chain, including A/B testing, cohort analysis, user behavioral analysis. So again, bringing to life some of the findings and insights from the session on digital product KPIs. Session number 14 will hopefully be also very useful on product management tools. So I will be going through some of the popular tools and software used in digital product management, such as Jira, Trello, Asana, Product Board, and many more. And here, challenge is not necessarily a lack of solutions, but how to use these different applications or a set of different applications effectively together. So I'm going to share some of my learnings and recommendations also in terms of how specifically to use some of these tools. And finally, session number 15 will be on case studies and best practices, so essentially synthesizing all of the previous sessions. I will be delving really deep into sharing some real-world case studies and examples of successful digital product management strategies, highlighting best practices and lessons learned. And here I will be going really deep into some of my previous experiences. So I hope this will be of interest. If there are any questions or you're missing anything, please reach out to me. But otherwise, I'm very much looking forward to seeing you in these sessions. Take care and speak to you soon.